episode 2, guys, and what a day to start the official first podcast and YouTube episode of my channel, Be Your Own Kind of Badass, than International Women's Day. Yay! So I just wanted to say also a particular thank you if you are a man and if you are tuning in today. Just because obviously International Women's Day always feels like it's for women, and it can generate a little bit of issues, right? So recording this from my own bedroom today, guys, as you can see on my bed, and without makeup because hashtag feminism, you know, but also because I couldn't be bothered. I just had a really long day at work, and I already have blush from the fever from leftovers of flu, so don't really need any makeup tonight, do I? So I wanted to discuss a few things, obviously, but I wanted to keep it light because there are a lot and there are enough movements and actions that are taken in terms of fight, and I just wanted to be more on the discussion and opening the floor side of things. So in terms of like International Women's Day, why obviously we still have it, because there are still a lot of inequalities, but I am in a very privileged position to say that we are in a vastly improved area in Europe. Is actually we're a bit more lucky than, you know, if you were a woman in India, right? I was just talking to someone yesterday who's from Bangladesh, and actually just came here for one of those reasons, because it's not actually that easy out there. And from my experience in India, in Delhi, I've seen and experienced things that made me quite happy to be back here. However, here we still have issues with catcallings, being grabbed, and all these sort of things. So obviously, you know, I think what I have to express is that there is not a woman I know that has not been assaulted or catcalled in any form, unfortunately. And I think that's probably one of my hottest topic in terms of making a change. And I think, you know, it comes a lot from obviously the patriarchy that is still kind of ingrained into conditioning people to behave that way. And I want to discuss about also what about men. I'd like to discuss about body hair and what I think about it, and what I think in general of feminism. So, feminism, da da da. Yeah, always a word that we throw out there that just kind of like gets a little bit, oh no, feminism. But I would say feminism has gone a long way since the 20s. And there is a thing that still sticks, is the stigma that we attach around it, and how women are this sort of feisty, angry mob against men. And I really want this to stop, because it's important for women to actually ally themselves with men, right? Going against men is not a thing that a real feminist is trying to do. And I speak from experience myself. I don't think I like, I'm not particularly, you know, I love all type of people. I'm not attached to women or men more in particular. I obviously want to, you know, help my female counterparts a bit more and try and make the world a better place for other women in the world. But I'd say for men, okay, if there are any men that are tuned in and always feel like women get angry, okay, against these issues, if you see, you know, women shouting or getting really riled up on a subject, we all do, I do, you have to understand that, well, and generally as a human, right, anger comes from a place of hurt. When you hurt is when you're struggling to control the emotions that are surfacing out, right? And feminism can sometimes stems a lot from hurt, you know. There's a lot of domestic violence. There is sexual abuse. There is lots of like actual women want to be listened about, right? So when it comes from a place of anger, sometimes it can be very difficult to open up a discussion and create stable arguments. It's hard to negotiate when we get angry, yeah? But, you know, I think there is work to be done. I think, again, I am in a privileged position where I get angry. Okay. I get angry about very touchy subjects. So I am a survivor of child sexual abuse. So as for a few years, and obviously I still get quite riled up when we speak about, you know, the Me Too movement, about certain things attached around sex trafficking for teenagers and things like that. It really kind of grinds my gear, yeah? So it comes from a place of hurt because I still have so much to process. And when women are hurt this way, I think this is why the feminist movement makes it look like it's an angry mob, because it comes from a place of hurt. It comes from painful experiences that have left a trauma, that have left a lot of underlying issues that sometimes you know, that we learn to live with but want to fight against, right? So this is why feminism nowadays I think is evolving. It's still evolving into the terms of equality, you know, looking after the gender pay gap, and, you know, in Western countries, yeah, where we are quite wealthy and we still want to look after these issues of equality. And bear in mind, you guys, that still biased against women. And I say we, because women just as much are. And this is the most toxic part of patriarchy, is that 91% of men and 86% of women have a bias, at least one bias against women. And I probably have one. So you probably have one too. Now really mull over that. How many times did you find your brain saying, oh my God, about celebrities, she let herself go? Or, you know, that you can't help having a little bit of a gossip about your work colleague, or that you've probably have called someone a little bit of a hoe or slut. We've all done it at least once in our life. I swear I don't really know anyone who hasn't, right? So this is where also we have so much work to do. We have work to do as women. We have a duty as women to not use our pain in revenge, yeah? And we also have to look at the issues that men are going through, you know. Also, men are going through the domestic abuse themselves, violence, and other things, yeah? It is silly for feminists to turn their back on that. Obviously, it's really hard when we get constantly hashtag in the face, not all men, or what about men, right? What about men? But what about men? The more you know about their situation, the easier it is to discuss it with them. So I think, like, in my opinion and in my advice, is the more you inform yourself about, you know, how to discuss with men the issues that you really are close to your heart, the easier it is when you approach them from their end. Yeah, okay, it's kind of a given if you discuss with someone. Yeah, if you discuss from your own position, there is no communication. So you have to some way open the discussion here. So I think that's my opinion. And feminism for me doesn't have to mean that you need to be extreme. If you want to be extreme, by all means, everyone has their own experience. Everyone wants to create their own version of feminism, and I absolutely embrace that. I really appreciate that women are making such a massive amount of effort to give so much strength and energy into fighting the issues that they are really wanting to, you know, work on. I need to work more on that myself. I find that it's difficult. I think the work that I tried to do, because I'm not very good at confrontations, and then I get angry when I get confronted. It's very hard for me to keep my emotions. Again, when things are really close to my heart, I get angry. And for me, I just want to work more on a position of discussion and communication when it comes to these issues. If I see that a person is not ready to have a discussion, then I probably won't. Unfortunately, it's quite hard. So, yeah, in terms of that, I think my approach mostly is as a burlesque performer who obviously get naked on the stage, and, you know, still I'm a feminist, and people always see like sex workers are as an issue to feminism, and I don't necessarily qualify myself as a sex worker. I'm definitely a stripper, because obviously I strip. But, you know, in the vast majority of the actual sex work industry, there is a huge stigma that says that sex work can be damaging feminism, and it's not true, you know. And again, it's very important to inform yourself on that. I like the stage when I perform burlesque, because it gives me that space to express my own sexuality and my femininity without having someone invade that space. Unfortunately, it's the same when, you know, you post a video or a photo on Instagram of, you know, feeling sexy, and you have like Sunday Bum Day or Hum Day. I think it's your own platform, it's your own space, and you are allowed to do that. Yeah, I find it so difficult myself to deal with the responses, the fact that you can just stupid dick pics, and sometimes from friends, right? You have a friend that is going to see your butt and think that sending you a dick pic or offering you a dick pic is a good idea. And I find this quite difficult. I find difficult that, yes, you use your platform, and we still have this perception that if we show ourselves and express our sexuality and femininity through social media, or through a stage, or through, you know, stripping on the stage on a pole, being an exotic dancer, being a sex worker of any form on a webcam, that opens door and allows to be assaulted on a regular basis, to receive threats, to receive disgusting messages, and receive dick pics. So that's something that I think is quite important to me, because I just feel so uncomfortable, and I really think that, you know, I have definitely lowered the amount of pictures depicting me in my sexual glory because of that. I have to be honest. Yeah. Last performance that I did, I had someone who was right in front of me, licking the lips and grabbing the crotch. And someone actually told me that, because on the stage it's my space. But when someone intrudes in your space, like in your DMs or in your comments, I feel a bit more touched. So yeah, I think in terms of that, you know, using the social media platform as a feminist, or, you know, saying that we can't be a feminist, or we are an issue, or sex workers, the sex work industry is an issue, I think is a huge problem that we have to work on. And that includes obviously the patriarchy, or the internalized misogyny that women have. Yeah. So as we were discussing, the internalized misogyny of criticizing other women, bringing other women down, or it's something that we also have been conditioned by the patriarchy to do, and that whole victim blaming and going on the social media and saying that, well, you've asked for it, is very much something that we have to work on in terms of treating women. That is, like, I think, my fight, and also to be more accepted in terms of the social media algorithm. Yeah, so my visibility has doubled since I changed my sex to female, to male instead of female, or if you put non-gender. And it's been very interesting because my experience with the algorithm, okay, let me tell you that story. That story where I created ads on Facebook to promote aerial hoop, to promote my trapeze class and workshops, and to promote contortion. That is quite a funny story because I was filming in the studio that I was teaching, okay, so I took some sample of my classes, and the studios are really cool. They've got these cool lightings, like pink and blues, and we use that because it looks incredible. It makes everything more sellable if you have an amazing studio like at Gymbox in London, right? And my students are incredible, so I'll obviously film them doing tricks and things like this. And when I created the ad, my ads were refused, right? So I appealed 3 times and it got refused. So I tried to get in touch with someone, and I got in touch with a person, an actual person on Facebook. So thank you, Facebook, for actually having this open conversation. I had an actual person that came to me and said, I understand your frustration. The thing is, because you've used club night lights, it could be construed or perceived as exotic dance movements performed like in a strip club. I am not kidding you. Doing moves on a hoop or trapeze with lighting, with mood lighting, can translate as too sexual for an advert. And since then, it has happened that most of my adverts got bounced, so they got banned, and the person called me back. So that same guy literally called me back. I stayed in touch with him for a while, so then every time I had a ban and all that, I was asking him, and he said that if I keep going with this kind of adverts, I might get my account completely shut down. And that's happened to a lot of my stripper and sex workers friends, and that's happened quite a lot after that. So like it's been kind of going around for a while now. That was like about 1.5 years ago, yeah, that I was struggling with my advertising, and then quite a lot of other people have been struggling with that advertising as well. But then from then as well, from the advertising, the Instagram following and the Instagram visibility has completely plummeted as well. So it's almost like I've been punished for trying to advertise and spend my money advertising my own products, which is deemed to be too sexual for Facebook and Instagram. And that, again, I find is an issue, because when you... Okay, again, what the guy said to me, he said, what you've got to understand is you've got 2 billion users on Facebook, and some of those users don't want to see that, which is absolute BS, because if you look at it, the people that I'm targeting it to are not people that are very religious in a country in Asia, you know, that kind of like would see this as deemly inappropriate. Yeah, that's not the people I'm trying to target that to. I'm targeting to the people in London that like aerial and exotic dancing and all that. But no, we are being completely erased from the visibility. And it is a thing like that. If you see a man shirtless, it's especially in fitness. Oh my God, there's so many times. If men are still here and connected, there's so many times you would see a guy like posting pictures or videos of themselves doing move, shirtless. They'll get so much more engagement. We start posting things, you might be getting the engagement. I get the engagement on my ass. I get the engagement on things. I don't get any engagement when I post a tutorial on flexibility. Okay? Right? And one other story, another one is I performed a move, a tutorial with a move, and 3 days later, a guy that saw my move, I know that he liked my move on Instagram. 3 days later, I see him doing the same exact move with shirtless, and he got 5 times the engagement, and we have about the same amount of followers. So that's a modern time and first world. First world for me, you can count as like a first world issue, because again, we're in a privileged position to discuss these things. But when we're in this kind of position, I think it's important to look after the small things first here within our vicinity. So pick our own fights, because if we don't start with our own fight, it's quite hard to impact the rest of the world. It's quite hard to impact, the bigger issues that are happening around the world. And I said I want to keep that quite light, so I'm not going to discuss the horrible things that most of us know are going on, happening around the world. But I think it is quite interesting to spread a message that matters to you, and still it can be small or medium or big. It can be angry, not angry. I think it's important to still kind of try and pave the way. And as men as well, it's so nice if you call out these kind of behaviors as well. It's so nice if you support us women in that venture. It's not that difficult as well, as you could be stuff like social media collaborations. It can be like that small, but using your own platform to help, for example, that social media and that algorithm issue is a small thing, but it makes such a difference. I think it would do. And so obviously we're discussing that sort of subject on being a burlesque performer, and the whole being a sex worker and that sort of thing, being seen as possibly and having a negative impact on feminism, and that's where I see that is not right. If we're not allowed to express, then that's also another way to control our body autonomy. Like, you're not allowed to show yourself moving a certain way, you're not allowed to express your sexuality. That's taking a step to control. And body hair, again, so everybody thinks that feminists have got to be super butch and super masculine, and if you're feminine and if you like pink and all that, you can't be a feminist, right? So my take on that is, I watched a video. So I have a few business mentors, and I have this sort of mentorship platform with lots of videos from different mentors as well. And I saw this lovely little couple that do this sort of goal setting, like life goals and things. And they're a couple that have been married for like 30 years. And I was just so taken by how they were like talking about human connections and how they've been in love, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, the host start asking the man about his views on feminism. And there we go. The guy started saying that feminists during the 20s and 30s, where it was an important matter, yeah, they had to fight for important thing, and now it is getting a bit less and less important, it's more about making demands, and that women were having to adopt masculine energy, which is not good and which doesn't fit the world in terms of couples. So that's like the most heteronormative thing I've ever heard in my life, first of all. Yeah, although I'm like a giant hippie and I do believe in female energy and male energy, but not all women want to have female energy, not all men want to have male energy. They don't all want, there is like certain levels, and there is a fluidity in that, and it's up to you to choose how much you want to have in yourself. Yeah, there are days I love to be like a tomboy, and there are days I love to be a girl, and so the body hair comes in that, right? Women have to choose if they want to have body hair or not, right? My choice on that is I am super hairy. Right? I've got dark hair, I've got Spanish background, and I'm very hairy, and I love not having to shave or wax for ages. Like, it's such a relief to not have to go through the razor bumps, the ingrown hair. Oh my god, the ingrown hair and other things for a while. However, my hair is super dark, super coarse, and to me that's an expression of my femininity. I like to remove it, but it's like completely up to you, because for me, I see men obviously like as covered in hair, and I think that's where it came from, and obviously, yeah, and then it comes from all the stuff like porn, and where women were having less and less hair. And again, it's in terms of body autonomy, you can do whatever the F you want. Remember that, okay? If you want to have armpit hair, if you want to have leg hair, it's up to you. If you want to remove it, it's up to you. If you want to wear pink, it's completely up to you. If you want to wear makeup, it's up to you. If you want to love your beauty products, it's up to you. If a man wants to love beauty products, makeup, and loves to have like face masks, it's up to them. We need to make more alliances together and understand that gender norms are, you know, probably a bit toxic to the whole movement as well, and it's going to take time. I think it is going to take time. It's going to take a lot of fight, and it's hard to force this on a regular basis. So I suppose I should wrap up around that. I should wrap up and thank you so much for joining in on that conversation today. If you have anything to add, or if you want to burn me to the altar for stuff that I said and that you didn't like, you can also send me your opinion on Instagram at FitFrenchKiss. You can also visit my website fitfrenchkiss.com or DM and say, just send a piece of your mind and just say hi and all that. So thank you again so much, and I hope that you are putting your own part of the fight for today's International Women's Day. Bye.